Welcome to the Man 360 podcast.
So thank you again for being a part of the Man 360 podcast. My name is Brian, and you can connect with us on man360.tv, our Instagram page, our Facebook page. And today I get the honor of sitting down with GF Watkins. We are here on the Jordan Ranch property at the Intense Men yearly conference for men.
Yep.
And GF, I just wanted you to share a little bit about what's going on here. I was just sharing a little bit with you over text and some things too, just what I really feel God is doing in men, and just the standard that's being set. And maybe that's a better way to say it, for men, but just share a little bit about Intense Men and what the purpose and goal of these weekends are.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you guys giving us a moment in the time.
Totally.
I think that the most important thing that we can do as men is be men.
Right. What a novel thought.
Very
you
profound.
have to say that.
Right. I think we don't know what that means anymore, because I think we're fatherless, which means we're exampleless. And so as we grow up, we don't know what to look at. And, from the first time that a young man goes to school, his crossing guard is female.
Yeah.
His nurse is female.
Mm-hmm.
Every authority, and nothing wrong with female, I'm just saying, where's the male example?
Yeah.
And so we're asking him to grow up and be a man just like mom.
Right.
And it's not mom's fault. It's just what it is.
Right.
So we decided, Ryan, to put on an event for 3 days for men to come out and compete and eat and strive for the gold medal and do the things men were created to do, and be mentored and pastored by their father or some level of authority in that.
Yep.
So if they win, they get this spiel.
Yep.
If they lose, they get another one, but it's still with a father.
That's so important. I mean, sorry to interrupt you. I just think that when you mentioned that, we were talking or hearing, Pastor Robert was talking about, some of the rules and things of we give the orientation, and he said that, and I was like, I need to preach a sermon eventually about like how to lose. Right? In church, we don't talk about losing.
Right.
We don't talk about like who you are. And it's not just being a good sportsman, that just honoring the winner, but it's like, what are you learning through that process of not succeeding?
Right.
I mean, any of the great,
and that sounds a lot better than How to Lose.
Right. Right.
I would attend that class.
No, but How to Lose is a hook to it that you would go, what?
Yeah.
So you got to think the other way.
Yeah.
But no, I just really appreciate that it's really holistic that way. It's not just the macho, okay, you're going to beat everybody and you're going to be the guy and you're going to be able to be honored.
Well, the first few years we do very intense 7-on-7 football.
Yeah.
And
we heard it outside the trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
and these kids are practicing for months, and they bring their teams, and it's not just a church team.
Right.
These are very, very Division I level kids.
Oh yeah.
And the basketball as well. So when they're out there, especially in the finals, they're throwing elbows. They're fighting for those points.
Yeah.
And that's what men do. But you can't do that in church. And
you got to give them a rant.
We don't know what the heck to do in church. We just sit there and go to sleep, wait for Luby's to open up. That's true.
I know.
And
church.
Men are not bad. They're just wired differently.
Right.
And unless you realize that, you won't train men. That's why any given Sunday is 80% female, 20% male, and yet men are called to lead.
Right.
So that's a formula for destruction right there.
Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Well, and I think too, Yolanda and I, we were walking past the bandstand area, where all the area where everybody does the services. And I told Yolanda, I said, I really appreciate, I'll say this, it's like intentional time when you're talking to the guys. It's not like it's just like a 2 or 3 hour, you do 6 songs and you do like 3 after songs and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, we're going to talk to you specifically, and also knowing your audience, right? You have a lot of kids here that maybe are not saved before they came in last night.
They don't know any scripture.
And they had I think it was 400 guys or so that came forward for the altar call for salvation. And it was interesting too, because I was watching that when I was there at the service, and they weren't just like get up, pray, do the little splish splash with Jesus and walk out. They were like, there was a group that were there still weeping.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, we got a big pool over here. It's not just for goofing around here. Jordan Ranch, we're going to get you baptized. Yeah. So really helping them even in that process. Yeah. And I videoed some of the baptismal because I thought it was awesome just watching the pastors and the dads baptizing their kids, and they were spending some time with them. I saw one of them baptized and came back up, and they hugged a good long time.
Yes,
it's like, this is a really important moment in your life.
Yeah.
And I think that was the other thing too, is that one my impression really of Intense, and this is my first time being here, is just that you want this to be memorable, not just for them emotionally, but spiritually, right? You want it to be something like a Bethel moment for them.
Absolutely.
Where they can set this up and go, man, that is really where God changed my life, where he got a hold of me. And, so I just really feel like that's just been amazing. I mean, what are some testimonies too, maybe, of just guys that have come through and come back and be like, GF, that just changed my life.
Well, I met a lot of them. I was out. I love to drive around at night.
Yeah.
And meet them.
I'm going to do that.
They tell me, you need to come with me.
Yeah.
And they love to tell me their story. And they'll sit there and tell you, hey, I came out 2 years ago. This year I brought 40 men with me from Virginia.
Right. No. Italy.
Yeah.
God, Italy this year.
So that's influence. And that's one thing that men don't understand because we're lone rangers.
Yeah.
Women are very influential because they speak better and they speak longer.
Yeah.
Men don't do that. They compartmentalize. So we're not known as influencers, but we are, but not with our words.
Yeah.
So we're teaching these guys how to be influential.
Yep.
I think it was Maxwell that said you teach what you know, but you reproduce who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to get them to understand is for us to be a father and to affirm, you have to be good with your words.
Yeah.
And your actions, but you have to. Moms are a lot better at confirming and celebrating us because they're full of words.
Right.
And guys have got to learn how to nurture better.
Yeah. You said something again too, kind of in the rules or the kind of the framework, I'll call that, for the weekend. You were saying if you just see a single guy or a single kid, go be a dad to them.
Yeah.
Don't just let them sit there and you're like, well, that's not my kid.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is that really in culture too, where you're like, well, that's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
That's not, and I think that's super important because it's like, who are we pouring into? Like for Yolanda and I, we don't have kids, but I know we spend a lot of our fathering and mothering years pouring into, we have a lot of spiritual kids.
Well, that's to me, that's a topic of discussion right there because your spiritual kids are his family. And he is the priority. We're not.
That's very good.
And the Bible even says when you're in heaven, you're not married or given in marriage.
Right.
So which family is more important? It's the supernatural, eternal one.
Yeah.
So we believe that if you can teach a guy how to care about God's family, he'll take care of your family and your family will become natural.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of pastors have bombs go off in their families and they say, well, take care of your kids first. I think I'd like to talk to them about that. Because I've had no problem with my kids seeking God first, and then they're taken care of by me, not somebody else.
Yeah.
But I have a drive to take care of them because I've learned. But I don't leave out spiritual children.
Right.
And here's the last thing. I want to say this about what you said a minute ago. It's very important. We learn so much. When you find your calling and you focus on it 24/7, you learn about God's dynamic plan for everything.
Yeah.
And that supernatural Holy Spirit tells you learn so much. So putting this on is a 6-month ordeal. We take 6 months of our staff to do everything to get this with a spirit of excellence. What we try to teach people, Brian, is when you have that experience that you were talking about, that powerful spiritual experience, you get saved, you get baptized, that is wonderful. It is a Bethel type thing. But listen, your job is not to just come here once in a lifetime and have a bucket list. Hey, I went to Intense.
Yeah.
Your job is to be so impacted that you go home and you bring 40 more.
Right.
That's what your job is as a believer.
Right.
And we're trying to really communicate that because men don't think like that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think, again, we think in events, right? We think of these big single things.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking about what's the consistent lifestyle that this is starting for me.
Yeah.
And even, I think you can appreciate where that Bethel moment is essentially. But it's like, if you're not doing things continually for Christ and letting God grow you, move you, push you, accountability, all those things. And as men, we're not naturally, we're naturally wired to go, I'll fix it. I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
God, you take care of this and let me do these 3 things. Like, I'll take care of this. It's like, we can't do that.
Well, we have to think, you're right. We have to think about what's our calling.
Right.
And our calling is souls, period. I mean, that's it.
Should be.
It should be in everything we do. But here's the thing. If they're not bringing people back here to experience that, then how are they sharing it?
Right.
This whole thing is that we have this massive men's event for you to bring your friends and introduce them to Jesus Christ through football or basketball.
Right.
Who cares what the thing is?
Right.
But when you get up here, we're going to introduce them. They're going to get saved. That's why you need to come every single year.
Yep. And not just think I'm going to go to enjoy it myself.
No.
Who am I bringing with me?
You're bringing men.
So, and we're going to provide links to that in the podcast. We'll do
Yeah.
that on our man360.tv website page too. So
It's great. Our goal is to hit 2,000. They can help.
That's
Men
easy.
can help.
That's easy.
We're close
That's
this
only
year.
like 400. How did you guys have this
about
year?
1,500, 1,600.
Okay, so
yeah.
it's only 400 more.
No, we could do it if everybody showed up. It's kind of like church. If everybody showed up, you wouldn't have enough seats.
Or if everybody tied.
Everybody,
money that we
what's
have.
that? What's that talking? What's
Well, if
that?
they'd just be all in, they'd figure it out, right?
Now you're talking.
GF, thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it.
So thank you again for being a part of the Man 360 podcast. Again, my name is Brian, and we just appreciate you. Again, connect with us on our man360.tv website page and all the other ways, Facebook, Instagram, and be back here next week for our podcast. So GF, thank you.
Thanks a lot, bud.
Appreciate
All right.
it.
Appreciate it.